Dozens of dogs are found in deplorable conditions at one Estill County home. And a meeting between Russia's Vladimir Putin and North Korea's Kim Jong-un leaves the world speculating.
Plus, we are tracking dry weather through Friday, but some rain chances for parts of the weekend. Those details coming up as Mountain News First at 4 continues.
Mountain News First at 4 continues.
In Estill County, dozens of dogs have been found in deplorable conditions, and now animal rescue groups say they are working to help with an overwhelming situation. The dogs were discovered living in their own waste at a home in Estill County. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has been speaking with animal groups and officials and has more on the situation.
This is a situation that caused the animal shelter in Irvin to be quickly overwhelmed. Now, some of the dogs were taken there from the location here on Kissy Branch Road. Others are at another location where someone has agreed to care for these dogs, and the owner of the dog is now facing criminal charges. The suspect is Delbert Weber. Police say they found 73 dogs at a home on Kissy Branch Road late on Tuesday night. 73 dogs were found in crates or stacked in cages, matted and covered in feces and urine. Some of the dogs were brought to the animal shelter, but there wasn't room for all of them. Pause for the Cause got involved, and an official there says a person who owns a barn is temporarily holding them. We are told that animal rescue groups from all over the country are being called in to help.
I'm glad that we got the anonymous call to look into it. The dogs were very happy to be out of their crates. I think they had lived in the crates for quite some time in their own feces and urine.
Some of these dogs were also found to be without food and water, and some local veterinarians were called in to help out. They are hopeful that all of these dogs will survive and not have to be put down. In Estill County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Phil, thank you. The dogs are said to be Maltese mixes and some Maltipoo, which is a mix of Maltese and Poodle. Earlier this week, we shared that 35 dogs were rescued from a van in Whitesburg. Officials at the Kentucky River Regional Animal Shelter have not been able to accept the dogs and instead are working all week to find foster homes and rescues to send the animals. Newly announced shelter president Tony Vaughn says 18 have been transported, and the final 17 he hopes will have a place to go to today.
It was an unforeseen circumstance at best, and it added to a burden that's already large. We've reached out to Alabama, we've reached out to New York, we've took a load to Louisville yesterday. That's going to be the key to this, is finding enough empty spaces to find placements.
Vaughn says the shelter takes in already roughly 100 animals a week. WYMT's Olivia Calfee will have more from there tonight at 6.
Well, fall may officially start next weekend, but it already feels like it across the mountains for your Wednesday, and that will continue into Thursday and Friday as some fall-like air settles into the region. Those temperatures this afternoon in the upper 70s and lower 80s. 71 for Pikeville, 78 for Jackson, 81 for Somerset, also up to 78 in Manchester at this hour. Up on the radar, we are quiet, all thanks to high pressure, so if you have any plans to go out to dinner this evening outside, the forecast is looking fantastic. For dry, under that mainly clear sky, those temperatures fall into the middle and lower 70s, possibly some upper 60s as we go later on into this evening. A live look from Triangle Park and Hazard as the setup is underway for the Black Gold Festival that kicks off tomorrow, and some fantastic weather is on the way for the Black Gold Festival. Temperatures top out below average on Thursday, Friday, middle to upper 70s, close to average on Saturday, back in the lower 80s. But the good news, we are dry under plenty of sunshine Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Watching out though for a few changes by late Saturday, also into Sunday, as more showers are possible. Those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. Russian President Vladimir Putin has met with North Korea's Kim Jong-un in what some in Washington see as a meeting of United States foes. This comes amid speculation Kim could sell Moscow weapons and ammunition to use against the Ukrainians. CBS's Imtiaz Tayyab is in Ukraine with more, including a new missile test by North Korea.
It was the warmest of greetings between Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin. Since the dark days of the Cold War, North Korea and Russia have maintained close ties. But this morning's one-on-one at the Vostochny Cosmodrome signals a new era for the leaders of the isolated nations. Russia is waging a sacred fight to defend its sovereignty, Kim said. We will always stand with Russia. Putin is in dire need of support. 18 months into his unprovoked war in Ukraine, Moscow's ammunition supplies are running out fast. And North Korea has a vast stockpile of Soviet-compatible munitions the Kremlin is desperate to buy. For Kim, the location of the summit at the Cosmodrome is a signal of what he wants, which is cooperation on his country's spy satellite space program. When asked by reporters whether Russia would help North Korea launch its own satellites and rockets, Putin responded by saying, "That's exactly why we came here." The White House has warned North Korea that if it sells arms to Russia, it would violate multiple UN Security Council resolutions. But neither leader, who are already under crippling sanctions, seem to care. When signing the guest book inside the Space Center, Kim wrote in Korean script, "The glory of Russia, which gave birth to the first conquerors of space, will be immortal."
Whatever's eventually agreed between Kim and Putin, military analysts say it isn't likely to change the trajectory of the war here in Ukraine, but will likely further isolate these two already volatile countries. In PO's time, CBS News, Unique.
Leaders in Britain today urged North Korea to end arms talks with Russia and said Kim's visit showed how isolated Moscow has become on the world stage. Coming up on First at 4, Apple's iPhone 15 is in the tech spotlight today after yesterday's unveiling of the device with new features.
And the forecast is looking fantastic for Week 5 of high school football. Also, those outdoor festivals, those details coming up.